And instead of using spaghetti underneath, I'm going to actually use zucchini spaghetti. I'm going to make my own spaghetti. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the tips off. And I'm going to use this neat little gadget that my handsome husband bought me to make the spaghetti with. Alright, so it's pretty simple. You take the zucchini and you stick it in that end there, and then you push this in the bottom, and then you just turn it. You just turn it. And the spaghetti noodles come out on the other end. I'll show you what. Alright, so you're left with, this is what it looks like, because you get all of the meat off of the zucchini and it forms spaghetti noodles. See? Pretty neat, isn't it? And I'll show you what I'm going to do with these pieces once I finish doing all the spaghetti. And what I normally do is I cut these strings or these noodles in half, because they can sometimes tend to be really, really long. All right. Okay. All right, so this is what the spaghetti ends up looking like. This is the zucchini spaghetti. Isn't that beautiful? I'm telling you. So you have spaghetti and you don't have all of the carbs and you don't have all the calories. So it is a very low-cal spaghetti. All right, so that's what I'm going to use as my spaghetti up under my eggplant. So set that aside. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the eggplant. And what I like to do is I like to wash the skin, because I keep the skin on the eggplant. All right, so let's cut these edges, these ends off. All right. Now, whenever I use the eggplant or cut my eggplant, I like to do thin slices. So that's probably what, maybe, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 of an inch, I guess. But I like them thin. Some people like them thick, so it's entirely up to you. But I like them to be thin. It's probably an 1/8 of an inch. All right. But I like to cut them real thin. And then what I do is I put them in some canned coconut condensed milk, unsweetened, before I batter them with my flour. And I don't use white flour. I use almond flour mixed with coconut flour. That's what I use to batter them with. All right. So you're just going to slice them real thin. And then what I want to do is I'm going to take a Ziploc bag, and I'm going to put them in a Ziploc bag and pour the coconut milk on top of them and let them sit in the coconut milk for a few minutes before I start battering them. So that's that. Isn't that pretty? So that's the eggplant. All right. So what I do with the rest of the zucchini that's left is I just go ahead and chop it up. Chop these up in little small pieces. See? Just chop them up into small pieces. See? Very simple. And I just put them in with the rest of the zucchini spaghetti. And then I take these tops and I do the same thing. Just cut them up small. So there you go. Chop that up and put that in there too. And what I like to take my kitchen scissors, and if they're like some really long strings, I just kind of cut them like that, so they're not so long. Those are kind of short. So I have my eggplant in my Ziploc bag. This brand of coconut milk. So you can use any brand of coconut milk that you like, but it's of course unsweetened. And just make sure it's in the can because it's a little thicker than, of course, regular coconut milk that you drink. And I normally pour it in a container first, just in case there's some lumps or anything in the milk. And then I take my little whisk and just whisk it. Alright, so I'm just going to pour just a little bit of the coconut milk in on top of the eggplant. And then I'm going to get all the milk, get that milk on the eggplant. If you see some pieces that don't have milk on it, just pour a little bit more in there. Sit, put that aside. Okay, so I'm getting ready to make the batter now, the flour mixture. And I use 4 different types of flour. You can use 1, it's up to you, but I just use 4 because I just like the way it tastes and I like the texture that it gives. So I use chickpea flour. I use coconut flour. I use cashew flour. And I use almond flour. So I'm going to put about 1/2 cup of each in the bowl first, and I'm going to show you what seasonings I'm going to put in there, and then we'll go from there. After I mixed all of my flours together, I put all the seasonings that I normally use, which you already know. I use onion powder, I use roasted garlic, I use a little bit of Himalayan salt on that. I use my nutritional yeast. I use Mrs. Dash, a little bit of paprika. I use no salt because I don't like to use a lot of salt. I use a little curry powder, and I use my pinto bean seasoning that I've been using a lot of here lately. So I put those in there, and I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag. And after I do that, I'm going to take my eggplant, a few at a time. And put them in here and batter them with this. And they actually do better if you let them sit overnight. Sometimes I'll put them in the Ziploc bag and make sure they're coated really well. And then just sit them in the refrigerator overnight. So I'm going to let them sit for a minute and let them absorb some of that mixture while I clean my stuff up. And then I'm going to fry them and put them on top of the zucchini spaghetti with the tomato sauce and cheese. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix my zucchini spaghetti. All right, I'm getting ready to fix my zucchini spaghetti. I have my stove on. I'm using my wok. And I'm going to let it get hot. I sprayed it with non-stick spray. And then I'm going to put my zucchini spaghetti in there and let it steam. It doesn't take that long, probably about 5 minutes time. See how it's already cooking down already? Now if you want, you can put just some seasoning on it, you know, a little bit of salt, pepper, any of the other seasonings. I normally typically use Mrs. Dash. A little bit of vegan butter. Just put the butter underneath so it can melt. And it has a little bit of salt in it, so that's why I don't use any more salt, because the butter has salt in it already. And you don't need a lot of seasoning on anyway, because you're going to put the sauce on top of it. So see, it's pretty much ready. I'm going to actually cook my eggplant in my air fryer. So I'm going to spray it with non-stick spray and layer it in the top in here, not stacking it on top of each other, but I'm going to actually lay it side by side, spray it with my non-stick spray, and cook it in the oven fryer. Okay, this is the eggplant Parmesan. What I did was I topped it. Well, actually, I started out with my zucchini, because I told you it doesn't take long for zucchini to cook. So I put my zucchini under the bottom instead of using the noodles. I topped it with my eggplant that I cooked in the oven fryer. And then, of course, I used my favorite spaghetti sauce on top. And then I topped it, instead of using Parmesan cheese, because it's hard to find Parmesan cheese anywhere, I use nutritional yeast. I love nutritional yeast. So you can put that on. Thank y'all for tuning in. To get some more of my recipes, visit my website, villasamore.com. Also visit me on YouTube. And I'll actually put the link to my website in the bottom. It's, of course, villasamore.com. But I'll put some more information at the bottom for you to be able to get my cookbook, which is vegan, vegetarian, keto book cookbook. All right, much love. Talk to you soon.